Hello, my name is Kelly. I'm a dietitian with the VA, and today I'm going to be demonstrating a recipe called leftover roasted turkey wrap. So this can be a great option, especially around the holidays, as just a different way to use up some of our leftovers. So we'll go ahead and get started with the recipe here. We've got some of our ingredients set out here today. We're going to be using a whole wheat tortilla wrap. We have some shredded carrots and some chopped up turkey. We have some salad greens, a little bit of Greek yogurt, and some leftover cranberry sauce. And then I'll be demonstrating how to cut some of our green onions, tomato, and avocado to put this wrap all together. Let's get started with making sure we have everything chopped and ready to go that we need for this recipe. We're gonna start with cutting up some green onion. So the recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of thinly sliced scallions, or also known as green onions. When you're cutting something, you wanna make sure that your cutting board is nice and stable on the workspace that you have. So if you don't have the rubber grips on your cutting board, you can put like a wet paper towel or a wet dish towel underneath the cutting board, and that helps keep it from moving around too much when you are cutting, just for a safety standpoint. So I'm gonna be using, this is called a serrated knife. I'm gonna be using this today. So gripping your knife, make sure you have a good grip on the base of the knife. Some people like to hold a little bit up on the handle of the knife, but we'll get a good grip on that, and then we're gonna just go ahead and cut our green onion into some small slices. So with the green onion, usually I like to just kind of trim off first the ends here. And then we're gonna hold it, and you wanna do what's called a claw grip. So you wanna kind of tuck your fingertips in, so if the knife were to slip, it's going to hit your knuckles and not your fingertips. And we're just gonna do these cutting motions. And then we'll see if that's about a tablespoon. So this end of the green onion has a little bit more of a mild kind of oniony flavor. But you can also in some recipes use more of the white end as well. It has a little bit of a stronger taste. So that is about what we need for our green onion. So I will set those aside. And then we're going to need 2 tablespoons of diced tomatoes. So these serrated knives can work really well on something like a tomato that has just a little bit more of this slippery skin. What I'm going to do is whenever we're cutting something, we want to make sure that we find a way to make it flat. That will keep it from rolling around while we're trying to cut. So I'm just going to cut off just a little bit of the end here, just so it's a little bit more of a sturdy base. And then I'm just going to cut this in half, and then maybe in a quarter again, because we don't need a whole lot for this recipe. And so from there, we can cut into these strips, and then we'll cut into a just nice diced texture here. Okay, and just kind of measure that out, see if we've got about 2 tablespoons. Okay. All right, and then finally we're going to go ahead and cut our avocado. So if you're looking for an avocado in the store, you want to try and find one that has a little bit of this darker color. We don't want it to be super green. That usually means it's not quite ripe yet. And you want there to be a little bit of give if you squeeze it, just a little bit soft, but not real squishy. So once you have your avocado, you can do something, and this is called a bridge grip, where you kind of grip around the knife. And we're just gonna kind of cut down the middle here. I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna cut down the middle again. I'm just gonna twist the 2 sides apart. So we've got this nice ripe avocado here, really good source of some healthy fats. We just need a quarter of an avocado for this recipe. So you can kind of just cut these nice slices into the avocado, and then I'm just gonna take out a quarter of that and set that aside here. All right, so now we've got everything ready to go, and at this point we can actually just start assembling the wrap. So first we're going to mix a little bit of Greek yogurt and a little bit of a leftover cranberry sauce. So the Greek yogurt adds just a little bit of protein to this recipe. Just gonna be a tablespoon of that with a tablespoon of the cranberry sauce, and we'll just mix that together. All right. And then we have a warm tortilla here. So I just warmed this up in the microwave for about 20 to 30 seconds. It just helps it be a little bit more flexible when we're going to roll it. So first we're going to spread this yogurt cranberry mix out across the tortilla and leaving a little bit of room at the ends. Not going all the way to the edge, but leaving about an inch or so. And then we're gonna just start adding all of our ingredients. So we're gonna layer in, this is a half cup of roasted turkey breast. And then we're going to add in our quarter of an avocado. And then we have our 2 tablespoons of diced tomatoes and our tablespoon of green onion. And then we also have 2 tablespoons of shredded carrot. So for convenience, you can use the pre-shredded carrot if you would like from the store, or you can shred this yourself. And then finally, we'll just put some mixed salad greens on there. So I just have a salad green mix. Spinach would be a really nice alternative for this as well. All right, and then it just calls for a pinch of ground black pepper. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of pepper on the top here. And then we are set to roll this up. So to roll, you wanna bring in the 2 sides, not all the way to the center, but kind of a little bit in. And then you take the bottom and you kind of just start to roll and sort of tuck it in as you go. And you get to this nice rolled wrap. So I'll cut this so you can see what this looks like. All right, so there we go. That is our leftover turkey wrap. We've got some good lean proteins with the roasted turkey. We have, a good mix of some vegetables in here. We've got healthy fats from the avocado, and we've got a little bit of extra fiber too with using a whole wheat wrap. If there's, if it's a different time of year, or maybe you don't have any turkey or don't like turkey, you can certainly sub in some chicken, rotisserie chicken for this recipe, or really any other kind of protein that you like. And also just to kind of change it up a little bit too, you could swap out, say, the cranberry sauce for something like a salsa. So there's definitely different ways to customize this to different flavor preferences. But thank you for joining me today for our leftover roasted turkey wrap. Thank you.